with the world we live in now, iPhones. I remember back when I was younger, Olivier's age, it used to be just microphone like this. Now it's iPhones.
Well, Coach, well, welcome back. If you want to open up with how it felt to be back on the sideline.
Well, yes, thank you all for coming. This is my favorite time, the pressers. No, but it's good to see some familiar faces. Believe it or not, I've thought about you guys a lot too. And, it's a blessing, truly a blessing. I have to thank God first. Also, giving a big shout out to University of Michigan Medical, my doctors, Dr. Patel and his crew, the nurses. There have been so many beautiful nurses that have worked with me through my recovery. Also, I'd like to thank my wife. That's the best nurse that I have. And I didn't know that she went to medical school, but she was with me from first day, all day. So it was nothing having my wife with me. Such a beautiful moment, having her support. Also, I'd like to thank my players for all the support that the text messages, as well as the phone calls and cards. I also have to give a big shout out to the coaching staff, Coach Phil Martelli for doing a really good job while I was away. Sadie Washington, Howard Isley, Jay Smith, Jon Simmons, Colin. There are many managers. There's so many support staff members that have been, here, having my back, helping, while I've been gone. And I trust that, everyone that while they was here, while I was away, they were, felt like I was never gone. So to be back on the sideline, something that I love doing, being head coach of the University of Michigan men's basketball program. I just love, Amazing Blue, and just to smell the energy of the building. Also to see the fans present and to be there yelling and shouting, calling timeouts, drawing up plays. And I remember the times when I was sitting in my hospital room and just thinking about, would I ever have that opportunity ever again? And it's the people that I thanked earlier, along with the Michigan fans who prayed for me daily, getting prayers from the NBA basketball family, getting prayers from my old teammates, people back home in Chicago, people I grew up with praying for me. You just never know. I had so many people supporting me. And I never second guessed that, but that's what got me through the process. It really did. But I'm happy to be here in front of you guys right now, and I'm looking forward to continuing this journey. And if you guys have any questions, feel free.
Noah, you want to start us off?
Yeah, look at what happened on the court today. It's the second game in a row where you guys have had 5 scores in double figures. What's working right now in terms of spreading the ball around?
Yes, just the unselfishness of this group. We've had some really good sessions in the summer, just talking about with a lot of new faces, how can we of course make all of you look like stars? How can we of course be one of the competitive teams out there that will be able to share the game and play for all the right reasons? And as we look back, when I first took the job, college basketball had a different type of landscape. It was more like transfers. There was no NIL. There was no transfer portal, and you were able to build a culture, and you were able to see players stay in college for more than 1 or 2 years. But now, you look at our team, we have a lot of new faces, and you got to, go back to teaching and teaching what the culture is like and what it will look, and asking them to trust you. And we found a group of guys that really trust in, the vision. And it's still going to take some, a lot of work, and we're willing to put in the work, but it's nothing like having a group that's buying into it. And as you can see, when you look at the box score of 5 players in double figures, and you look at the box score again, and you say, okay, well, you know, Dougie took the most shots, and that was 11. You know, that just shows you that, you know, guys are really sharing the basketball, which is more important than sharing the game.
Over here with Steve.
Juwan, how has the time that you had, that you were away from the team, that you were rehabbing, how has that affected the way you look at coaching and maybe the way you look at life?
Well, being away, you know, I got a chance to reflect it. Late at night, you know, you're talking, you know, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, you know, when you guys are probably asleep, and I'm awake and I'm listening to the heart monitor, you know, beeping, and, you know, there's, you know, medical professionals coming in my room, and they're doing their job, taking vital signs, and I mean, now, you know, it's taking me some time to get back to sleep, but one of the things I think about is basketball. It never leaves my mind. I'm always wondering, like, okay, well, how can you have a growth mindset? You know, what are some of the most important things that your team needs to help grow? How can you challenge them? You know, and what, you know, like the staff, like what are some of the things as a staff? How can we be the best version of ourselves for them? And those are the thoughts that I have. But then also there are thoughts that I had in my mind, like, okay, do I want to continue this journey of basketball and put my health first? And I took my time during the process. I'm just so happy that I found, you know, the problem. Because I've been stubborn, you know, I've been an athlete before, and we've been taught to really suck it up, you know, when there's pain that you feel. Or if you're out of breath, you know, take a deep breath and keep pushing yourself. And there was a time when I was out of breath, and I'm like, okay, well, I know how I'm supposed to feel, and I'm not feeling normal. And I'm just so happy I was not stubborn at the moment. I asked to, you know, set up a doctor's appointment, and with that, finding something that really scared me. There's another word I can use right now, but I do not want to be bleeped. But it's really scared me, and I had no idea what I was truly facing because, you know, basketball has been my life. But to hear, like, you know, open heart surgery, you know, I was like, okay, well, bring it on. You know, there's another, you know, situation I'm dealing with. You know what? You know, I can't run from it. So this is what it is, and that's the athlete mentality that I have. But not knowing that open heart surgery, wow, I had never had a serious surgery before. Playing in the NBA or playing in college, other than, you know, 3 broken noses. But to have open heart surgery, and after the surgery was over, I was like, whoa, felt like I had got hit by a Mack truck. And it took some time, 15 days in the hospital, 15. And with those 15 days, you know, I got a chance to reflect on how badly do I want, you know, this to get healthy. Am I going to, of course, put my head down and be in a puddle and, you know, just feel sorry for myself? Or I'm going to toughen it up, roll up my sleeves and say, you know what, there's no time to start feeling sorry. Let's figure out how to get healthy.
How much weight did you lose, and are you trying to put it back on?
I lost some weight.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't want to see that weight again. I don't want to find it around the corner. But yes, I've lost a lot of weight. I don't know how many pounds, but let's just say it's more than 30 for sure.
Lindsay?
Hey, Juwan, what went into the decision to try something new with today's starting 5, and what does Terrace offer off the bench for you guys?
Well, Terrace, I'm planning on to starting him in North Carolina when we play on Tuesday. But, you know, we just, as a team, felt that today was important to bring Will in the starting unit. And Terrace, you know, he took that as a nice challenge. And as you can see, like, you know, he could have been like sulking on the bench, but he, you know, it definitely lit a fire into him. And you look at his production today, and in the last 2 games, you know, he's been playing extremely well.
Tom?
Yeah, Juwan, I think it was after the Indiana game, Will was up here and he had a great game in that game, but he was so downtrodden and you could tell he was a leader on this team.
Yes, sir.
Very determined. Can you talk about how that's gonna work with him and Terrace and his role, and what does he need to, maybe take his game to another level?
Well, Will has been great. I mean, you look at every year, Will has gotten better and better. And, I never forget while recruiting Will and getting to know him as a person and just understanding that this guy has a chance to be a captain on our team because of his mindset, his maturity, and, he just loved being a college student here at the University of Michigan. And now that he's getting more confident, just having a voice, you hear him in the locker room, you hear him in practice. Guys respect, Will because he puts in the work. Practice each day. You also do it when we as coaches are not watching. And then you just saw this season, after having last season where he started 7 to 8 games throughout last season, I just look at Will as a guy who's really scratching the surface. But this year now, he's going to be on people's scouting report because if you look at his numbers, he's shooting almost 60s from 3-point line. For twos, he's shooting in the 60s again. He gives us that lift off the bench that we truly need. But today, like I said, I was in the startup. He was ready to go. And that's the type of attitude it is. He's always embracing whatever role that we give him. And I just want all the young guys like the George, Harrison, to really take notice of a guy like Will. He's a guy that's going to be a staple of this team for the next few years. And I also have to go back to, I never forget having a conversation with him about redshirt. And Will said to me, he said, well, Coach, what? I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, whoa, you were thinking the same thing. Here I am, I'm scared and afraid to bring that to you as something that I feel that would be best for you for your freshman year. And we never discussed that while recruiting you. And this was the first time that I ever had a conversation with a student athlete about redshirting, and I was so nervous, and he just made it so comfortable. And I was like, what, I just love Will. Love him, not just for that reason, but he's one of us. He's a Michigan man.
Andrew?
Juwan, first, great to have you back. I guess, how are you doing, and can you speak to some of the benchmarks you had to hit to be able to,
Yes.
first be on the bench and then today actually stand during the whole game?
Yeah, so, yes, I'm not 100%, but, I don't know what 100% is when you're in coaching. I am at a stage in my life where I am healthy enough to resume to be on the sidelines, and we're 12 weeks, past 12-week mark since I had the surgery September 15th. I still 3 days a week, to have physical therapy, and I find that to be great for me. During the stages of as I was returning to the sidelines, there was what's the return to the sideline look like when I asked that question to my doctor, and he said, well, I think it's smart that we do it in stages, and let's start with maybe going to a practice and seeing a practice from PDC up above, where we have our suite balcony area, and then if you're in practice in Chrysler, maybe from the stands where you guys sit. And so I did that. I tried that for two practices and a half. Hopefully Janine's not listening. And it felt great. It felt great to see the players, see the staff, and there were times when staff would call me and check on me and stuff like that. But to be back in the gym, it just felt like a reward, and I really embraced that. And then the next stage was I could be able to sit in on a practice, and when I sat in my first practice, I felt fatigued, I felt tired. But then each week, I got stronger and stronger, and the next stage was sitting in at a practice and maybe have a voice, add to the teaching part of it. You know, I worked my way there for a couple of weeks, and then after that was, you know, right before we went to Bahamas, the next stage was running practice and be the guy that, you know, pretty much do, you know, both of the teaching and I, you know, I of course always trust my assistants, but I wanted to not step on their toes, at the same time be respectful of all, and including the players. And so when I went to the Bahamas and I was allowed to sit on the bench and feel the energy, went to Oregon, felt like I was like in a more of a college setting as well as at Iowa, then I said, you know what, you know, I'm ready to do this. And I felt very comfortable with the return schedule.
Tony?
Juwan, welcome back. You said while you were in the hospital, you were thinking about if it was the right decision to return to the game. Was there a moment or a thought or a conversation that led you to yes, it is, or when did you know that you wanted to come back?
Well, I never had a conversation with anyone as far as, you know, do I want to continue coaching? But, you know, I did have a conversation with my doctor, the nurse, and my wife, the other nurse, and, you know, we talked about the game plan that I just gave you, and I never forget my doctor telling me that December that he thought was a good time frame, and I looked at him and I'm like, he really don't know who I am. Like, I don't think December, I think that is really, you know, not the date I was looking at, was November. And in my head and how I'm wired, I thought I would be able to return before the Bahamas. And so happened, you gotta let the medical professionals do what they do, because he knew more about, you know, this surgery that I had, and he also understood the recovery process and understanding as well that I may be a little bit different from some of his other patients that he had, because I work in a situation, no, not a situation, but a job, a profession that requires high intensity stress and high intensity, you know, competition, and with that competition comes stress. And, you know, they wanted me to make sure that I was protected in a lot of ways, and I appreciate that, because I got a true understanding that, you know, this process was not easy. It took a lot of work, but I was willing to sacrifice and put in the work to do it.
Time for a couple more. Andrew?
Juwan, Ward put out a statement, you know, last night saying that you were cleared in any investigation they did. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Well, I was just basically piggyback on what Ward said, that, you know, referred to his statement, and I think it was clear, it was precise, and there's still a review happening at this moment.
And what is Jon Sanderson's status of the program?
I'm not sure. I will definitely say to you, go back to that statement that Ward gave. That will, of course, answer any question that you have.
Thank you.
Tony?
That was going to be my follow-up as well. But I guess just in that same vein, you were also got a couple technicals in the game.
Welcome back to basketball, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome back. That was like part of my stage of returning. That was a part of it. And I stuck to the plan.
Just one of the benchmarks.
Yes.
Austin, you want to close us out?
Yeah, Juwan, obviously, this is a high-pressure job, a high-stress job, long hours.
I love it.
A lot of time on the road. Is there anything you have to do differently in this job since your surgery?
I would say for me and for my family and for the team and for this university, take care of my health. Health is power. Health is everything. If you don't have health, you don't have nothing. And that means that proper sleep, eating right, you know, that's a part of taking care of my health. And I just embraced this working out with plan that my doctor and nurses have gave me is really helped me get stronger.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.